In today's video, we're going to show you how Exact Match Keywords works inside Google Ads in 2025 and show you real life campaign examples of actual searches that are triggered from Exact Match Keywords to help give you an idea as if you should use them for your own campaigns. And unlike the other two match types inside Google Ads, the definition of Exact Match is really clear, is that ads may show on searches that are the same meaning as your keyword. So it's safe to say with Exact Match that for the keywords that you choose to target, you're happy for your ads to appear for any searches that have the exact same meaning of that keyword. So you're not telling Google that I have this list of keywords that I only want to appear for these exact searches. As long as the search itself has the same meaning as the keyword that you target, then you can appear for that search, because Google has gotten a lot smarter in most recent years, and all three of their match types have gotten a lot looser because Google has a much better understanding of the intent behind searches. So Google understands, for example, furniture store and home furnishing shop more or less mean the exact same thing. So if you had a keyword of furniture store, for example, then you could appear for a search of home furnishing shop, even if you haven't selected that as a keyword for your campaign. So that would be one of the main differences about Exact Match now versus then, is that before, for any exact match keywords that you were targeting, that you would only appear for those exact searches. But now it's not the case that you need to have as many exact match keywords inside your campaign, because your ads can still be triggered by searches that have the exact same meaning as those exact match keywords. And we're just going to show you a few examples of the types of searches triggered from exact match keywords inside this campaign. So we're going to go to keywords and have a look at some of the keywords that have gotten the most traffic to give you an idea of the types of searches that are triggered for these keywords that we chose to target from the beginning. So this keyword here, landscapers Dublin, for example, what we're going to do is select this keyword and press search terms to see what searches we've actually appeared for. And as you can see here, we have a mixture of keywords like landscapers Dublin, Dublin garden landscaping, garden landscapers Dublin, landscaper Dublin, landscaping Dublin, which are more or less the exact same thing. But even with exact match keywords, Google has gotten quite a bit looser recently and showed our ads for searches that aren't exactly landscaping, but for example, garden designers Dublin, gardening services Dublin. But for example, this company doesn't want to appear for regular gardening searches, so there's still search terms that you'll actually have to add as negatives when using exact match keywords. So it's not that necessarily you'll never have to do search term analysis because everything is going to be relevant. You'll still appear for some searches that Google thinks the meaning is the exact same, but it isn't necessarily, depending on the service that you offer. But just to show you another example of a keyword, for example, garden fence installation, we'll look at the search terms that we've appeared for that. And you can see in this example then that there's less irrelevant search terms that we actually appeared for. So we appeared for garden fencing installation, install garden fence builders, garden fence installers, garden fencing fitted. So you can see the main thing for these search terms is that the wording is different in all, but you can see for the most part they all more or less mean the exact same thing. But for example, we had to add a negative here because for installing a garden fence, it could be a search that indicates that the person is looking to do the job themselves. So we just added that as a negative, just as a safe measure, just to make sure that we minimize any clicks that we get from traffic that indicates DIY. But you can see from those two examples that the quality of the search terms that you appear for under exact match are highly relevant for the most part. But no matter what match type you're using, you're always going to need to do your search term analysis, because you might have a specific keyword like landscapers Dublin, like we had in the first example, that Google might find a lot of searches that they think means the exact same thing, like the gardening searches that we saw in the last example. So you're still going to need to add negative keywords on a regular basis. But with exact match, there's just going to be a lot less negatives that you're going to have to add versus when you're using phrase or broad match. And so if you're running a campaign where you only want to appear for searches that have the same meaning of the keywords that you're targeting, then I would highly recommend using exact match. And that's the exact strategy that we use for any new campaigns that we start running, is we try to use exact match for the most part, as long as there's enough search volume to do so. Because when we're starting out a new campaign and using maximize clicks, for example, to gather as much data as possible, we don't want to necessarily go broad and appear for a lot of irrelevant searches that are going to drain our budget a lot quicker compared to using exact match keywords, which are generally going to have the highest conversion rates for the most part. So we want to use exact match keywords to gather enough relevant conversion data earlier on, And then when the campaign gets to a point where it has a lot of conversion data and we're trying to bring that target CPA down lower, then that's when I'd recommend you start thinking about, going broad, adding in a broad match keyword here and there for each of the ad groups that you're targeting, or maybe even more phrase match keywords just to boost the amount of traffic that you're getting overall. But for this campaign, for example, it's only been running about 1.5 months. And even though we have a target CPA in place and about 47 conversions in total, we still haven't added any phrase or broad match keywords to this campaign. Now, we would have added some phrase match keywords if we didn't have enough search volume to keep it as is, but we're getting enough traffic with exact match keywords to stick with exact match keywords for now. And we'll likely get to a point where we start implementing, a broad match keyword to each ad group to amplify the data that Google's AI has given us. But we don't want to rush into that process, as we want to keep the quality of search terms that we appear for as high as possible, which is really important early on for any new campaigns, especially. And what you can do as well when you're looking to find exact match keywords to target for your campaign, what you want to do is go to the keyword planner and find some keywords that actually have search volume. So what you can do is type in, an example of the keyword that you'd like to target, for example, landscaping company, landscaping near me, and so on. And obviously select the area that you want to target as well. But when you press get results, then ideally what you want to do is be targeting at least a few keywords that have a few hundred average monthly searches. So that way, then, if you want to use exact match keywords, you know that you're going to have enough search volume to actually get the traffic that you need to optimize your campaign early on. And you can obviously mix these keywords with a lot of lower search volume keywords, even anything that has above 0 searches per month. It's worth adding to your campaign as long as it's a good quality keyword. So the first thing is to just make sure that you're targeting at least a few keywords that have enough traffic for you to use exact match, because there's only going to be so many search terms that can be triggered by those keywords. And also for the keywords that you do target as well, just make sure that they have intent. So not necessarily that they have to say near me at the end, because obviously those are the most high buying intent keywords that you can target. But even landscaping company like this, for example, if somebody searches landscaping company, then the chances are they are looking for a landscaping company. So the keyword doesn't have to be 4 or 5 words in length. And obviously long tail keywords are great, but those can be mixed with any other keywords that have intent, like landscaping company, for example, landscaping contractor, landscaping services, and so on. As long as the keywords that you choose to target have clear intent, then they can be chosen to target for your campaign. And if you'd like a more detailed explanation as to how to use Keyword Planner to find the best keywords to use for your own campaign, I'll leave a link above that. It shows you how to use the Keyword Planner in detail and full. And what you can do as well while you're in the Keyword Planner is, if you're seeing keyword suggestions of something that you don't want to appear for when you're running the campaign, then it's worth listing off those keywords as well. And you can add those keywords as negatives in advance to your campaign as an additional measure that you're only going to appear for relevant search terms for the most part. And then when you're doing your search term analysis, there's going to be a lot less irrelevant search terms for you to add. So to reduce the amount of irrelevant searches that you do get, just adding negative keywords in advance is going to save you a lot of time. And if you are using exact match keywords, the chances are is that you're not going to appear for any searches that have, how to, how much, price, cost calculator, and all those types of irrelevant searches, and supplies and supplier and so on. But if you have a list of words like this that you don't want to appear for at all, then you could simply add a list like that as broad match negatives to your campaign. So simply copying and pasting a list in here and not having any brackets or quotation marks around them, and that's just an additional measure to be really strict, with the searches that you appear for, and try to have the highest quality searches right from the very beginning. And the reason why we really like to just focus on exact match keywords early on, especially, is because if you're running really specific ads for a really specific service, for example, patio installation in this case, if you have keywords that are all patio installation specific, and you had broad and phrase match keywords in there as well, then you'd be appearing for a lot of searches, for example, how to lay a patio, patio tile colors, and not necessarily things that indicate somebody's looking to get a patio installed. Whereas exact match will just cancel out a lot of those relevant searches from the very beginning. And we've noticed when, running exact match keywords from the very beginning, is that they typically have the highest conversion rate, which makes sense because if somebody clicks on an ad from searching patio installation and the ad says patio installation, and then they get brought to a specific landing page for patio installation as well, then it makes more sense that they convert at a higher rate than someone that's just looking for further information about a patio. And it is worth mentioning as well, though, about exact match keywords is that they generally are going to have the highest cost per click out of all the three match types because Google understands that searches that come from exact match keywords are most likely going to be the highest quality of search as well. So that's just something else to be aware of is that typically cost per clicks are more expensive with exact match keywords, but at the same time will have the highest conversion rates to make up for it. But I would highly recommend starting out campaigns with exact match keywords only, if possible, as long as you have enough search volume to actually do so. Now, I hope this video helped and gave you some clarity on how exact match keywords works inside Google Ads in 2025 and helped just give you a better idea of what they look like inside a real campaign, and so that you know exactly what it would look like if you were to use exact match keywords for your own campaign. Now, if you do have any questions at all about anything we mentioned inside this video or anything else related to Google Ads in general, feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you are a service-based business looking to refine your own campaigns as well, feel free to have a look at the link in the description. And if you do like this Google Ads related content as well, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as we'll be posting all things related to Google Ads here daily. And hopefully we'll see you in the next video.